Hello, church family. Hope you're doing well this week. Remember me, Dan Hardy, one of your pastors. Have not had the opportunity to preach over the last 10 weeks, but I'll be back speaking to you, opening up God's life-changing word this Sunday. Just a couple of quick announcements. We're going to be reintroducing WCC Kids Ministry sometime in October. Stay tuned for more details. We'll be starting small and headed towards normal, but just a reminder, our hope is not in normal. Also, for anybody who is checking out WCC or have already decided that WCC is your church home, I want to encourage you, if you've not already, to take the Biblical Distinctives class. It'll be starting on October 11th at 8:30, and it'll go to 9:45, and you'll be super encouraged by this class. We don't have membership here, but it's kind of the gateway towards belonging and serving at WCC. This Sunday, as I mentioned, I'll have the privilege of opening God's Word as we start walking through the incredible book of Esther. And I know this book is going to bring great encouragement to you as Christians living in a minority culture that has different views from you and me on almost everything. Many of us are having a hard time knowing how to relate to this culture that we live in. Do we withdraw? Do we assimilate? Do we protest? Do we critique? And in this incredible book of Esther, we see that the Jews are in danger. They are a religious minority living in Persia, a pluralistic society dominated by spiritual and moral values that are at great odds with their own. They live in a culture that is built on money, power, and sex. And God's people bought into that culture. And we're going to see that God's people had no distinctiveness. We're also going to see that powerful forces are scheming to destroy God's people. How will they respond? How will God respond? We'll see. Esther is a very different book than any other book in the entire Bible. Throughout biblical history, when God's people have been in trouble, God sends miraculous signs and wonders. Yet in the book of Esther, God seems completely absent. There's no mention of him at all. No vision, no dream, no prophecy, and no miracle. The book of Esther is full of reversals. What you think is going to happen doesn't. And we're going to see God rescue his people even when they are faithless and faceless. Ironically, he uses a string of coincidences to save his people. A drunken and boastful king, a self-respecting queen, a beauty pageant, a sensuous girl, an overheard plot, and a timely insomnia. God even uses morally questionable decisions to work all things together for the good of his people. Today, if we can't see God working in politics or pandemics or in the common everyday events of our lives, we must not conclude that he is asleep and not working. His silence is not absence. His hiddenness is not abandonment. Esther teaches that in his providence, he is working out the ultimate salvation of his people. Today isn't the end of the story either. The powers that seem to be in control are not actually in control. The trajectory that seems inevitable is not inevitable. Esther is a book that will make you laugh at evil while rejoicing in our God who is active and working in his people. Even when our circumstances seem impossible, he is at work. He is living and active in every corner of the world, in overtly Christian cultures and in post-Christian cultures like we may be living in today. So please join me this Sunday as we kick off our study of God's hidden providence in the incredible book of Esther. Love you, church family. We'll see you on Sunday.